Hello, my name is Steve Herman. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're interested in mediumship, you're interested in becoming a better channel for the spirit world to work with, you've come to the right YouTube channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, please smack that subscription button below and definitely subscribe. I'm going to be talking a little bit about spirit communication and just how often many individuals who will consult a medium for a session will have an expectation or a strong desire to hear from certain individuals in the spirit world. How many of you who are mediums have had that happen? I remember one time I was up at Temple Heights Spiritualist Camp up in Maine, right on the coast. This must have been a good 25 years or more ago, 30 years ago. And this woman showed up, it was in July, for a session. And she was from Manhattan, from New York City, and she desperately wanted to hear from her mom in the spirit world. And who do you think came through? Her mom came right through, really very strong connection. And she was very happy. And I know that the mom in the spirit world was very happy too. I can think of another time, though. I was in Harrow in North London, and I was working with this one gentleman. And as I described the woman who was coming through, he said, "My gosh, that's my aunt. That's the last person in the world who I would expect to come through." How many times has that happened to you? As a medium, bringing someone through from the spirit world, and the individual who's the recipient goes, "My gosh, that's not who I wanted to hear from. That's not who I was expecting." And yet, many people, I'd say most people who consult a medium, they don't understand the mechanics of it. And they don't understand that anyone who's around them, anyone who's going to come through from the spirit world during a session, if they're working with a trained medium, it's been planned out beforehand, hasn't it? So, of course, they're permitting people to come through. They vet who comes through. Whoever comes through has training, and there's always a higher purpose to it. So sometimes the people who we want to hear from, sadly, are not necessarily going to be the individuals who do come through a medium. I remember a couple of years ago, I was in the Spiritualist Church service in San Francisco, California, with a medium who's a friend of mine, and this one medium was working. He brought through a spirit, he gave the name of the spirit and made some references to the spirit he felt worked in a restaurant, because I said I didn't know who that was. And actually with the name, I really wasn't matching it with anyone I knew. And so, he went on, proceeded with the service, and while he was working with other people, it hit me. And I remembered the individual who he had described was a woman who worked in the dining hall where I went to college for 4 years. And she was there for years. I mean, this lady was there till she was quite elderly, and then she kicked the bucket, very well known by students and staff in this particular educational institution. She had been there for years before I attended, and many decades after, she is still working there. Now, I knew her. I was acquainted with her. I wasn't close with her at all. I knew who she was. I spoke to her occasionally, had some conversations. Why would she come through from the world of spirit? People don't always think about this. So sometimes the people that come through, they're not going to be the individuals who the recipient is going to expect. And this is what makes sometimes the most evidential information even more evidential, even more powerful in providing substantive evidence of the reality of life after death. It's pretty neat, isn't it? I give you a lot of examples like that. I can think of certainly many times where someone comes for a session, they want to hear from their mom, or they want to hear from their third husband and not the second. Then, of course, the second and the fourth husbands come through and they get really upset. But, they could get very disappointed. And so some of you as mediums, it's really important, those of you who are working with mediumship, you're just the instrument for the spirit world. Now, you can definitely ask for people. We don't call people up, but we're open. We're working with our spirit team, and they facilitate the communications along with the guides of the individual who's the recipient. So we're there to work with someone and bring through whoever is supposed to come through. And remember, sometimes the session, it's more for the person in the spirit world than it is for the individual here. And that's very, very important to remember that. So I wanted to share these ideas with you because You want to be the best possible channel that you can be. Don't let yourself get somehow thrown off course if someone says, I don't recognize who you're talking. Now you should go back to spirit and try to get a little bit more information. But again, it's not always the person who they're thinking of. And oftentimes, as I said, the best evidence would be the evidence that at the time of the session, the person doesn't recognize the individual. Those in the world of the spirit work with people here. They love people here. They try to help people here. And it's not always every individual being there for somebody if they're not qualified. You might want your dad to help you out. He's kicked the bucket in the spirit world. He might not be qualified. So who do they send? They send somebody appropriate to work with you. And of course, often the people in the spirit world who are around us, they're also learning, aren't they? And as they work with us, as they serve God, as they help others, this is how we progress. So, some of you mediums, if you've had some experiences, share them below. If you've got questions, share them below. If you haven't subscribed, definitely smack that subscription button. I've got 2 books out, Mediumship Mastery, The Ultimate Guide, The Mechanics of Receiving Spirit Communication, which is on Amazon, and I have my new book, Mediumship Mastery 2, Advanced Techniques That Work, which is also on Amazon. Both excellent books. I'm really into the teaching aspect. And please share. If you've got any questions or any comments, definitely add them below. And thank you so much for watching this video.